Hi, I'm Elle Winter, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You have been making some noise in the music industry for some time now, and now you've officially signed to Red Music, which is incredible because there's so many incredible artists on Red Music that like I feel like that's where they start their careers and then that's where they blow up at the same time. Talk to me about this signing and how did that happen for you?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I mean, it feels good to be at Red. They really understand my artistic vision and support the direction I'm in. So I signed with them in February of this year, based on a body of work I presented that I'd been working on, kind of feels like my whole life, but kind of primarily in the past few years. And we're going to release it in the fall. So it's very exciting.
That's exciting. And right now, you know, the fans have been listening to Do You, which is your latest single. Talk to me about like creating such an empowerment kind of song. And then at the same time, like collaborating with the orphanage on it.
Yeah, so Do You was the first song I actually did with the orphanage, and they kind of executive produced my entire project. And I went to the studio with them, and they were like, "What is a message you want your followers to hear from you?" And especially working with them and kind of starting this new chapter of music, I was like, I want to let everyone know that they can be themselves and speak their truth. And that's what we all should be doing and following our hearts and what makes us happy. And I kind of wanted to carry that message with me into the making of my new project. So it kind of set that tone, especially after working with people throughout the years who would try to make me say different things, sing different things. And it was kind of me like putting my foot down, being like, this is what I'm going to sing about. This is who I am.
Now, you know, how are, you know, as you start, you mentioned earlier, like it's like people are telling you who to be,
Right.
how to sing, you know, what to wear. So it's like, how did you kind of, how were you able to build from that and be able to be yourself and come out being yourself without, you know, worrying about what other people are saying?
Yeah, well, I've been very lucky to have a strong, support system. My family's always there for me and keeping me grounded and letting me know like my opinion matters and really appreciating me. So I think that has been helpful in guiding me and keeping me true to myself, especially given all the voices and opinions that can surround me. So I'm lucky to have that and just, starting very young, I think that kind of gives me a different outlook on the industry, just like made me more confident. Just like as I was telling you, doing Disney stuff at age 12 and really getting into it then, I felt like more mature at age 16 to be like, hey, I want to write about this today and like we're going to do it my way, you know?
Right. And talk to me about that transition of, you know, writing your own music and the evolution that you've gone through in the last couple of years. Like, do you see that evolution in your songwriting? Like, is it vivid or is it something that you kind of have to like, it's minuscule. You have to really like look deep before you can actually figure it out.
Well, I mean, for me, like I can look at my songs and see the evolution just based on like what I'm writing about and the experiences. And like my first song I ever wrote was called "Awkward" about a boy like I liked at like the bus stop when I was 9. So I can see that actual just lyrical evolution there. But even so, just when I started really getting to the studio and like my first like LA type of session, I went to the studio and I was with an amazing songwriter who'd written for like my favorite artists, and I was like so in awe of him and we're sitting in the studio and I'm kind of letting him guide the session. Right. Then I started realizing like I want to collaborate and like I want these songs to really tell my story. So kind of just speaking up like that and yeah.
So talk to me about your collaboration with the orphanage, because I mean they've been working with you for some time now, and you know what is that chemistry like? If I were to go into the studio with you guys just to watch, like what would I expect?
So they are just truly incredible people. Like my first session, well, we did Do You, the first session ever, and I literally have videos of us all dancing to the song. We put a camera out and just like played the song 5 times and had a dance party. And like every session is like that. They are so humble, so fun. It was really great. And like I would go, some of my songs, I go into the session, I'd be like, I want a song. I didn't even know how to articulate exactly what I meant, but I would be like, I want it to make me feel this certain way. Like, oh, I want it to make me feel like a juxtaposition of sad and happy. And like they would create a sound like that. And like just with me telling them things like that. So they're so incredible in that way. And I feel like they really understood me.
Now, when you actually get, you know, into a track that is more personal or like a more serious topic, is that something that you just comfortably record and let out of your system while you're with them, or is that something that you're still trying to figure out how to be comfortable doing that?
I do feel very comfortable talking about those things, and I've come to a point in my career where I realize like you have to kind of touch on those vulnerable subjects and experiences to create the best art and to really connect with people. What I realize is like I love listening to artists' music that makes me feel less alone, and I relate to their pain and whatever they're experiencing. So I kind of have to delve into that as well. And I'm very comfortable with them and talking about those subjects too.
So as you're working on this upcoming debut EP, how did the Orphanage challenge you in the songwriting process or in the recording process this time around?
Yeah, I just think they were so open and so flexible with the way they approached each session, and kind of inspired me to do the same. Like maybe try writing about something I wouldn't normally touch on, like in the way that they would produce and use production elements that maybe they weren't familiar with too. So we kind of both like had this experimentation, which was cool.
I feel like that makes it more interesting. I feel like you come in with a vision with your song and how it's going to sound and what it's going to be like, and then when they add their 2 cents to it, it's just like something completely different.
Yeah, and that's what I always think. Like I can write whatever I want to write in my bedroom, like what I mean, on my guitar. But like being in a session, you want to like. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. The summer colds are like the worst. But being in a session, you want to be collaborative and flexible.
So let's talk about this upcoming single, Cave In. I actually got to listen to the EP on my drive here. And I'm going to let you know right now, my 2 favorite songs on there are Cave In and 110%.
Really?
Like the energy on 110 is just insane. But talk to me about this upcoming single, Cave In, and like, what is it about this track that you feel is the right next release for you?
So Cave In, I love just because this is the song I actually went to the session with the Orphanage, and I was like, I want to have this feeling. I want to produce some sort of feeling, and like they totally brought that to life. And I left the session, I was like crying to my sister and my mom. This is the best song I've ever produced. I love it so much. And it's a really intimate song just because it touches on this concept that I've wanted to articulate for a while, just how sometimes when we end a relationship, we are in a vulnerable state and can often go back to an ex because they're there and they're calling, and
it's comfort at the same time.
Comfort. And it's scary to be alone, especially after such a like long time being with someone and being used to someone. So I wanted to write about how when a relationship ends, it's nice to just have it be a clean end and not having the opportunity to cave in.
Okay.
I
like that. So, I mean, is this EP, would you feel this EP is focused on this, not necessarily a specific relationship, but focused on going through these situations and then being able to overcome them? Is that what you feel like this EP is all about?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's very reflective, and reflecting on a past relationship and experiences, and kind of looking at it with a new set of eyes.
Right. So how are you able to write something like that? That's, one, it's so personal. 2, I'm sure it hurts while you're writing it. Right. So how are you able to get comfortable writing that?
I was lucky to work with songwriters who were also open about their experiences. We'd go to the studio and I'd say, I went through something like this. I want to talk about it. They'd be like, oh, right. Like I've been like, it's easier to write with people when they're also open and honest, Right. So that was, I was very lucky to work with people like that.
Is there any specific like songwriters that you would love to collaborate in the future, obviously?
Yes. Do you know the songwriter Madison Love? She's written like Sweet But Psycho, like a bunch of amazing songs. I love her. Okay. Yeah. So I'd love to work with her. Timbaland, he's more of a producer, but I'm sure he writes as well. Yeah. So The Dream, all those people. Oh, I got Ed Sheeran. I'd love to write a song with Ed Sheeran. Oh my God, I'm really offended he didn't call me for his last collaboration.
What is wrong with him? This is not cool.
So rude.
I think you would team up perfectly with Mitch Collins. He is in Lovely the Band, and he's also a label mate of yours. Yeah. But his songwriting is incredible. Like I think something like that would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and I mean Max too. Just there's some amazing collabs I love at Red. Like I'll let you guys know.
So now that you are ready to release this EP to the world, like can fans expect some kind of touring, some kind of shows? Like what's going on in the live performance world?
Yes, so hopefully I'll be on a fall or winter tour. We're working out those details right now. And I think that's what's most important to me is really connecting with these songs. And I've actually been lucky enough to perform them for the past year now, like especially Yeah No. And I performed at some of these tour dates, and people will come up to me after being like, "Wow, that song really resonated with me, with tears in their eyes." And like that's what I love about music is that sense of community it can bring.
Right. And you know, how did you first get into music, and what was it about the music that made you say like, this is the career I want to choose? Like, no matter how hard it's gonna get, how many years I'm gonna try and put my name out there, like you chose it and you're still here. So what is it about music?
You know, I've always loved music. My mom says I was singing and talking at the same time. So I mean I grew up listening to Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and I would see these women just effortlessly performing and doing it. It just seemed like that was the natural path for me. Like, oh, they're doing it, like I can do it, whatever. So I never really felt like there was another path for me. And I'm lucky, you know, growing up in New York City, there's so many opportunities like acting classes, singing lessons, whatever. And when I was 4 years old, I was taking vocal lessons. It's just, it's very easy there to get into it, I feel, you know?
Yeah, I feel like that's risky. At 4 years old, you don't even know like what you're gonna eat
my
for
God.
breakfast. Like,
I was singing Rent like out tonight at 4. My mother had, oh God, no one knew. I would just go with the vocal coach and be like, I love this song. Did I know it was about what it was about?
Wow.
No.
wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, I have a 6-year-old nephew and he's singing "Sunflower" by Post Malone every time it goes on, and I'm just like, this is not a song for you.
So crazy. But you know what? Like melodies really are so powerful too.
Yeah.
I mean, I love lyrics and stuff, but like melodies grab, you know, all ages, you know,
Right.
all ethnicities, whatever, you know, languages.
That's true. Everything. Well, thank you for letting me crash your room for today. You guys be sure to check out Elle Winter. Upcoming debut EP on Red Music is coming real soon. Thanks for watching on Front Row Live.